Welcome to the Deep Dive. We take a pile of sources, figure them out, and give you the insights you need.
That's right.
Today, we are strapping in for a real immersion into a massive high fantasy phenomenon. Sarah J. Maas's A Court of Thorns and Roses, A Kotar, as everyone calls it.
Yeah, A Totar. And our mission today, it's more than just, a plot summary. We want to quickly pull out the core story, absolutely. But we also really need to grapple with the pretty complex political structure of this Fae world and analyze that surprising thematic depth that makes this book so huge. It's not just popular, it resonates.
Okay, yeah, let's unpack this then. So we start with Fair Arsharon. She's 19, a mortal huntress.
Great.
And everything about her screams necessity. She's tough, independent, basically carrying her family, who are living in poverty right near the edge of a magical realm.
A survivor. Pure and simple.
Yeah.
And that survival instinct, it leads directly to the inciting incident, the big mistake.
The mistake.
Yeah. Fair kills this huge wolf. It's deep winter. She needs the money from the pelt, but she doesn't know.
Or maybe doesn't care in that moment.
Possibly. Doesn't care that the wolf was actually a fairy in disguise. And in Prythian, killing a fae, that's not just a crime. It demands this immediate ancient form of justice.
And justice arrives looking like Tamlin.
Exactly.
He's a high lord, very powerful, ruler of the Spring Court.
Yeah.
And he's not there for apologies. He's there to collect.
And his price isn't money or jail time. It's stark.
Totally stark. Fair has to go live in his magical realm, Prythian, for the rest of her life.
Yeah.
That's the punishment.
The only other option being death.
Right. So bam.
Yeah.
We're thrown right into this immersive, high-stakes world.
Which brings us straight to Prythian itself. I mean, that's almost the main character, the setting.
You think so?
Oh, yeah. The sources describe it as rich, magical, but also incredibly dangerous. And it's not just one kingdom. It functions more like this vast political chessboard.
Okay, and you mentioned the structure. That's where the courts come in.
Precisely. What's fascinating is how Maas maps it out. Prythian is meticulously divided into 7 distinct fairy courts. You've got spring, night, summer, autumn, winter, dawn, and day.
7 of them. Wow.
And each one's ruled by an immortal high lord. Their power isn't just personal magic, though they have plenty of that. It's ancestral. It's law.
So when Tamlin shows up demanding fair,
his demand carries the weight of ancient treaties, unbreakable tradition. It makes his claim on her basically absolute, unchallengeable at first.
So 7 different territories, different magic, different politics. Can we maybe contrast to, just to get a feel for it, like Spring Court, where Fair ends up, versus, say, the Night Court? That one sounds ominous.
Oh, definitely. The sources make that contrast very clear. The Spring Court, Tamlin's realm, is initially shown as, beautiful, enchanted, full of gardens, seeming peace, though you quickly sense something's wrong underneath. Secrets, decay. The Night Court, totally different vibe. Known for darkness, shadows, mountains, its people are powerful, often seen as ruthless. So right away, Prythian isn't just one thing. Alliances, threats. It all depends on where you are.
It really grounds the fantasy, doesn't it? Giving it those concrete political stakes.
It does.
And initially, Fair wants absolutely nothing to do with any of it. Hates her captivity. I mean, who wouldn't? She's mortal, trapped in this beautiful but terrifying gilded cage.
Yeah, and that initial conflict is key. It sets up her whole psychological arc, that hatred. It slowly turns into curiosity, then maybe acceptance, and eventually
affection towards Tamlin?
Towards Tamlin, towards the place itself in some way. She starts digging into the secrets of this world. And the sources really emphasize this. Beneath all that beauty, there's a dark curse looming, threatening everyone. Fae, mortals, the whole deal.
And that's the real story kicking in, isn't it? She can't just hate it or escape it.
Exactly. She realizes she has to risk everything. Her life, her mortality even, to break this curse and save the very people she started out despising.
That shift from survival to sacrifice.
That's the core of the book.
Okay, let's move into the characters then. The dynamics. Obviously, the heart is Fair and Tamlin, High Lord of Spring. He's described as mysterious, romantic.
But also, let's be real, the sources hint he's pretty complex emotionally, maybe even difficult, terrifying sometimes, closed off. Which definitely adds tension to the romance.
Yeah, complicates feels like an understatement.
It really is. Their whole push and pull drives that first half. It uses that fairy tale idea, but it gets much, much messier pretty quickly.
But it's not just them. The supporting cast seems crucial.
Oh, completely. They breathe life into the world. You've got Lycian.
Tamlin's friend.
Right. Witty, a bit sharp-tongued, sarcastic.
Hmm.
He's important because he gives Fair some guidance, however reluctantly. He's that bridge character.
Between mortal and fey.
Yeah. And you can tell he's loyal to Tamlin, but also deeply troubled by what's happening in their court.
And then there's the other one, Rysand.
Rysand, yes. High Lord of the Night Court. The sources introduce him as, well, charismatic isn't quite enough. Darkly seductive. Definitely layered.
His entrance feels significant, like it shifts the whole board.
It's strategically placed, for sure. It signals that there's way more going on politically and romantically, just beyond the Spring Court's borders.
Yeah, the way the sources describe him, intense language. You know, he's not just a side character.
Not at all. He's an immediate counterbalance to Tamlin. Shows you, the reader, that the morality here, it's definitely not black and white. Prytain's complex.
Okay, so, structurally,
Yeah.
we have to talk about the elephant in the room.
The Beauty and the Beast thing.
Exactly. It's undeniably a retelling, right? That's the hook.
It's the hook, absolutely. A woman held captive by a beast has to learn to love him, break a curse.
But calling it just a retelling, doesn't that sell it short? Moss takes that familiar frame, but then immediately slaps on this whole seven-court political system we were talking about.
That's a really good point. It's less a straight retelling, maybe more
Sure.
an evolution of it.
Yeah. Like she uses the familiarity so you get the emotional stakes quickly, but then pivots hard into power dynamics, duty, trauma, things the original fairy tale barely touched.
Right. It's the scaffolding she uses to build something much more modern, more intricate.
And that exploration seems tied directly to Fair's growth. Her arc isn't easy. The sources suggest her captivity. It almost breaks her at first.
It does. It strips away her old life before she can rebuild.
The transformation comes through suffering then.
Absolutely. Forged in fire, you could say. She goes from this fierce, but ultimately powerless mortal survivor to someone who gains immense power, agency. She literally transforms into something else, a hero.
Symbolically, that's huge. Growth through pain, through making these incredibly hard choices.
And those choices highlight the big themes. First, you've got freedom versus choice. Fair's bound by this initial duty, this punishment, but her whole journey becomes about finding her own voice, making her own destiny, even when surrounded by these ancient, powerful beings.
And the other big one seems to be love and sacrifice.
Definitely. The book is very clear. Love in this world. It's not soft, it's not always safe or gentle. No, it demands incredible courage. Painful, costly choices. What Fair does at the climax.
Yeah.
The physical, the emotional risk she takes. That's the ultimate proof that love here requires profound sacrifice.
Okay, connecting this to the bigger picture. That maturity, that exploration of cost and risk, that must be why it hits both older YA and adult readers, right?
I think so. It shows that knowledge, love, they often come with a hefty price tag. Pain, risking yourself.
Okay, switching gears slightly, let's talk about why it's so addictive. The mechanics of the writing itself.
Right. It comes down to Sarah J. Maas's craft. Her prose gets called lush, detailed, descriptive.
Cinematic.
Cinematic is a good word for it, yeah. It makes the scenes feel very vivid.
How, though? Is it just fancy words? Or specific techniques?
It's more technique, heavy sensory detail. You get the smell of the spring court, the chill of the mountains, the visuals of the magic.
Yeah.
Plus these wide-angle descriptions of the courts themselves. It makes the world feel tangible, huge.
And the tone.
It's a careful balance. Dark, definitely, but also deeply sensual. That's a key part of the appeal for her audience.
So it balances that darkness with
What?
the romance,
Yeah.
action.
Both. The romantic scenes are intense, passionate, you get invested emotionally. But then when the action hits,
Right.
especially later in the book, it's detailed, fast, visceral. The stakes, emotional and physical, are always crystal clear.
Okay, and the pacing, that seems critical too.
Oh, hugely strategic. The sources point to a really clear split. The first half, it's a slow burn.
Really building things up.
Exactly. Focused on that romantic tension between Fair and Tamlin, her emotional development, and just meticulously building out the world, mostly within the spring court.
And then the shift happens. Where does it escalate? And why does that work so well?
The big shift is when Fair is forced out of the spring court. She ends up in this high-stakes political situation, the part often called Under the Mountain.
Okay.
The book pivots from that quiet, contained tension to a full-on life-or-death quest. Trials, political maneuvering, it's intense.
So it forces her to act, moves her from passive captive to active hero.
Precisely. From a quiet narrative to an epic quest narrative.
And that escalation, moving
Yeah.
from slow, personal stuff to explosive, save-the-world action. That explains why people say the last 100 pages are just unputdownable.
Absolutely. It pays off that careful, deliberate buildup perfectly.
Okay, so let's synthesize. Pull it all together. What have we learned?
All right, so you now understand the core mechanics of ACOTAR. You've got that unique blend of the 7 Fey courts acting as this complex political map.
Right, the world building.
Then there's the Beauty and the Beast Foundation, giving it that familiar emotional core to start with.
But evolving from it.
Exactly. Then Fair's pivotal transformation, from broken survivor to powerful hero.
Her arc, yeah.
And finally, that sophisticated mix of intense romance and high-stakes, almost cinematic fantasy driving the whole thing.
It really is a compelling formula. Deep mythology, but tied to very personal stakes. You're invested in the world, yes, but really you're invested in her journey.
And that focus on the cost of her journey, the hero's journey, it brings us to a final thought, something for you, the listener, to mull over.
Okay.
Fair risked everything, her freedom, her life, her very identity, really, to save the Fae, people she started out hating, fearing, all because of this duty that was thrust upon her. So it raises a pretty interesting question, I think. When is true freedom, real personal freedom, actually found? Is it always in escaping obligations? Or sometimes, is it found in accepting a duty, even a difficult one, because it forces you to become someone stronger, someone more?